Hello, geeks! You may have seen a horsefly, or a dragonfly. You may even have seen a housefly. But I've seen an elephant fly. So when I first heard that they were making a live action Dumbo, I was intrigued. However, the way I found out was a bunch of my Facebook friends were complaining about the Crow song and hoping that that racist song wasn't in there, as well as they didn't want the drunken pink elephant scene to be within this new version. I didn't understand the racism of the song, so I actually went online and learned the history. Whereas if you don't know the history behind the song, you don't really realize it's a racist song because you don't realize that they named the crow, the main crow, the way they did to be racist, or that a majority of the singers, except for the main crow, were all white. But I still enjoyed Dumbo. It's not one of my top 10 Disney favorites, but it's not one of my bottom 10 either. And I did enjoy it a lot as a kid. Then I heard the announcement that they got Tim Burton to direct it. This made me a little concerned. I did like Tim Burton's version of Batman, but he tends to make everything darker than it should be, except for Batman, because Batman should be a dark series. So I had my concerns. But then I saw the first trailer, and I was like, I'll give it a chance. It is Disney. Then as I saw more and more trailers, I wanted to see Dumbo even more. And it turns out that it was better than what I was expecting it to be. I was still sad that Timothy the Mouse really didn't make that big of an appearance. He did make an appearance, but he wasn't a main character. The original animated series focused mainly on Dumbo, Timothy, and their adventures of giving Dumbo confidence in himself. The new live-action version mainly focused on the other acts within the circus. Mainly the family that took care of Dumbo and how they grew and reunited as a family. So it wasn't really what I expected it to be, even after reading the descriptions of what it was about, but it was still enjoyable. Although I did still miss Timothy the Mouse, he did make a cameo appearance, as I said, and it was kind of fun to see the other acts of the circus and how they interacted with each other. It kind of had a Greatest Showman vibe without the singing. It is a Disney movie, so it did have some music still, but I wouldn't consider it a musical. And although the animals didn't communicate with voices, the expressions that they got on the CGI Dumbo were amazing. You could definitely feel what he was feeling. I did kind of miss the animals talking to each other, even though the human counterparts wouldn't have understood what they were saying. But because they focus more heavily on the human side, I think that's why they decided not to have the animals talking at all. They did still incorporate the Pink Elephant song and the Crow song, but they did it in a way that I think it would make everybody happy. The Pink Elephants basically were magical bubbles that the trapeze artists made during Dumbo's big, grand scene of flying for the major circus. He did become kind of sort of entranced by it, but he wasn't drunk. The Crow song, basically, the announcer announcing Dumbo to giant capitalized circus, incorporated the big parts of the song without being racist. There were a lot of big name actors, including Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton. I didn't expect to see Michael Keaton in there because I didn't research the movie that much. I knew Danny DeVito was going to be the ringmaster. And he did look a lot like the original Ringmaster, but he wasn't as hot-headed as the original from the animated series was. But he was still a lot of fun to see. And for the most part, the CGI was amazing. There were a couple scenes here and there that you could go, that's not a real elephant flying. Why couldn't they get a real elephant to fly? But for the most part, you were entranced enough into the movie that you couldn't tell that it was CGI. Maybe in 10 years, when they improve this technology again, you'll be like, that looks horrible. Whoever wanted to watch this? But for today's standards, it was most awesome. So all in all, it's not a top priority for me to own this once it comes out on Blu-ray, but eventually after I get my main titles that I'm trying to recollect back into my collection, I'm probably going to purchase this one. As I said, it wasn't really what I was expecting. I was expecting more like Beauty and the Beast, because that franchise seemed to work well live action, where it's pretty much a copy of the animated series with live actors, whereas this was rewritten, but not rewritten so much as like Maleficent, where they changed the perspective of the story from the main character to somebody else, such as the villain. It's not really a villain per se in the animated Dumbo, other than the fact that Dumbo's mom gets taken away from him. In this one, we do have a little bit more of a villain character, which villains are always fun too. So I would definitely make this a movie to go see if you're in a movie mood and already seen everything else you want to see. But again, I wouldn't make it a top priority. Probably give it 3 stars out of 5. But it is a lot of fun. If you're in a bad mood and just want something to lift your spirits, this movie will definitely do it. So geeks, I know that there's several live action Disney coming out soon. What live Disney would you like to see that hasn't been announced yet? I think I would like to see Fox and the Hound, because growing up that was always my favorite. And I think they could do that one really well done. In the back of my head, I remember hearing about a Pinocchio live action. I really hope they don't do that. I think that's going to be more of a horror movie than a Disney movie. But it's Disney. Maybe they'll figure out a way to do it well done. So until next time, geeks. Bye.